Hey Tide fans, and welcome to week 2 of the Alabama Adapted Athletics Coaches Show. I'm Dom Taylor. Very excited to be bringing another edition of the Coaches Show to you. And this week we have Alabama Adapted Athletics tennis head coach Evan Enquist. So Evan, thank you so much for being here with us.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Of course. Before we launch into this, I want to thank Honey Stinger, of course, the sponsor of the Alabama Adapted Athletics Coaches Show. It's a sports nutrition brand that uses natural sweeteners in their products, and Honey Stinger assists our athletes in preparation, performance, and recovery for all the upcoming competition this season. Look for their products like the Honey Stinger Waffle Bar, as well as the Energy Chews in retail stores and online, and be sure to try them out. So thank you very much, Honey Stinger, for being a sponsor of Alabama Adapted Athletics. Coach, the wheelchair basketball season just started a few weeks ago, but tennis has been underway since September, so plenty of things going on for adapted tennis. Take us through an opening statement of how this season has gone so far for your squad.
Yeah, absolutely. This has been a different semester in the sense that we had a lot less events to travel to. Just kind of the natural flow of things. Sometimes there's more opportunities to travel. Sometimes there's more home games. So we actually had 3 opportunities to play at home this year, which is great. It's rare for us to have that many home matches. So it's been a good experience. We had some highlights early in the season. We had hosted the Alabama Open, which is one of the largest tournaments that was held in the fall in the U.S. And so we had a professional division, amateur division, a lot of success across the board. Thomas kind of had a standout performance. He was able to claim the singles title of the ITF Futures and beat an opponent that he had previously never taken a set off of, and was able to come out on top this time. So that was a great performance, and the whole team got a lot of great experience. And we had our youngest and newest player, Tony, who was able to play her first match ever. And so she won that match and had a lot of success. So it was a great event.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about Tony a little bit because we've talked about on our first coaches shows some of the freshmen that have joined our basketball teams, and Tony, obviously the new member for this tennis squad. How have you seen her develop so far, just being new to the sport and beginning things off with this team as a freshman?
Absolutely, yeah. She's really done a phenomenal job. When she gets to the court, I mean, she's been a part of organized activity. She was in band and participated in a lot of other organizations and team atmospheres. So she kind of got it from the beginning. But what I've really enjoyed seeing her progress athletically. She'd never really spent a lot of time pushing a sports chair. She can walk and just never really got into the adapted sports side. And so, we were able to get her in a chair and get her on the strength conditioning path and get her on the courts. And so it's a very unique experience when you teach a player both how to push a chair and how to play a sport from scratch, which is kind of honestly kind of a fun and unique thing that happens in the wheelchair tennis world. Is we're still very young. There's just not a lot of major recruitment we can do. And so if we can find players that are interested in learning the sport, we have the structure, fortunately, to get them up to speed very quickly. And so even within this she's only been playing the sport for maybe 4 to 6 months. But even yesterday, she's played competitive matches now. She's able to have successful rallies, movement, and so just really enjoy her progress.
That's great. And another veteran of this team, you mentioned him just a couple minutes ago, Thomas Venos. He's had another amazing semester. I mean, nothing's par for the course for Thomas. I mean, he's such a spectacular player, but the Canadian national champion, he's won singles and doubles now. This is the 3rd year running, the number 1 player in Canada. He's had an incredible semester. Talk about this achievement for him, and not only just how difficult it is to have long-standing, sustained success as a player, a singular player, not even on a team, but just a singular person doing this over 3 years, and then just what he brings, his work ethic, and what this means for him personally.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, in this past year, we've seen a really great jump and a really great reward for all of his hard work that he's put in. Every player kind of goes through some flows in tennis where they kind of feel like maybe they're at a plateau. They don't, they're beating the players they should beat, and they're losing to the players they should lose to. And so it takes time and effort and time on court and mental and physical discipline to get there. And so we saw a kind of a flip the switch over the summer where he kind of came out of a plateau, if you will, and started having success beating players in the top 50. I think he beat a top 25 in the world over the summer, got a lot of great experience, and then brought that into the semester where he has had some of the biggest breakout wins as a player, and so he's really enjoyed that success. And we're going to continue pushing that as long as we can. But yeah, in terms of just sustained, yeah, he's one of the strongest players in Canada, well, the strongest men's player in Canada, and really enjoys that country pride, going back, representing BC and BC sports, and playing with those who kind of got him started, and the national coaches who worked with him from, who went and met him in the hospital before he even touched a tennis racket, and kind of recruited him. So I know he really enjoys that event, and always priority for him to go back and perform and be a part of that. So he's but he performed well, played very well.
Now, moving forward to this weekend, the Wilson Invitational, Friday, Saturday, have some great matchups coming up. Talk about Michigan. That's going to be the main opponent this weekend. The athletes that they bring in, obviously very familiar with them, always at nationals. They're very familiar with Alabama at the same time. They know our athletes very well, and vice versa. What challenges do they bring in terms of the talent that they have, and then how is your team? What are the fundamentals that your team really needs to focus on to have success this weekend?
Yeah, I think Michigan has quickly become one of our main competitors and one of the strongest opponents that we face in the year, and that's kind of accredited to their structure. And we know they're training full time. We know they're on court. They've had excellent coaching and support, which is great to see. And so we know that they're going to be a phenomenal opponent, and have been this last couple of years with them, coming in second at nationals last year. So it'll be a really great matchup and a great test for us to kind of evaluate how we're doing, especially after a season where we lost 3 of our longtime players, Avery Downing, Lauren Hops, and then Alex Saporito. So yeah, it's going to be a great test for us, and I think in the sense of what we need to focus on in the fall season, it's a little more individual. We spend a lot more time working on individual tactics and goals, and we're kind of warming up into the spring season, which is really a team focus. And so we've been spending a lot more time on doubles, a lot more time on communication, and just kind of we have a shake-up in doubles partners. And anytime you have a change-up in those partners, it takes time to develop a relationship with that person, and how do they tick, and what sets them off in a match, and how do you cool them down, and how do you just kind of start gelling together, and that just takes time. So we've been developing that in practice, so we're excited to test it out on Saturday.
Are you happy with the development of Thomas and Max in this new doubles rotation?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I've seen a lot of great things this week, and they're again developing their communication and kind of seeing what their strengths are as a team, and so it's been kind of fun to watch. And of course, it's just great to see Max kind of stepping into that role too of now as a sophomore, getting the opportunity to play for Bama and get into some of these bigger matches. Is fun to see him adjust to that.
Great. Very excited for that. The doubles match will be broadcasted on BamaAdapted.com, right where you find all of our live streams, so be sure to look for that this Saturday morning starting at 9:30. And, Coach, are there any upcoming events for next semester? I know the Wilson Invitational is going to cap off this semester for their tennis team, but what's coming down the pipe in the future?
Sure, yeah. So after this event, we'll kind of wind down for the season. We kind of have 2 small season in the structure of the academic year, but we will kind of ramp up starting in February, and then the major tournaments in the country start in March. So we'll be very busy March through April training, getting ready for the national championships, which will be in April. But we will have a large home collegiate event, so looking forward to hosting that. It was only a year ago that we hosted our first fully collegiate dual match at our new facility, and we'd never done that before, mostly just because of the distance of programs and how many schools around the country were really actively traveling. And so we're really excited to rehost another event. We want that event to be bigger and better, and try to bring in as many schools as possible, Auburn, Michigan, Clemson, to name a few that we're going to target, and hopefully we have a great event. So we'll definitely be looking for a big home crowd, and hope to continue our growth and return in April to defend our championship.
For sure. All about championships here, as you can see all the banners on the wall over here. If you would have turned the camera about to the left, you'd see all that. But, yeah, that's the standard here, and I'm very excited for another great season. It looks like we're off on the right foot here. So, Coach, thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate it. And, again, we just want to thank Honey Stinger, Hollister, RGK, Jalapenos, and all the great sponsors here at Alabama Adapted Athletics. Live streams of the doubles match, once again, that's going to be on BamaAdapted.com. On Wilson Invitational, be sure to check in for news on our socials about everything going on with that tournament. Follow us on those socials at Alabama Adapted on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And, of course, check back in for YouTube for weekly episodes of the Alabama Adapted Athletics Coaches Show. Thank you so much for watching or listening wherever you may be, and Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.